heading into the third period. Must have been some kind of inspiration.
Oh, we just said it's been a long trip. We've been in tight games the whole trip. It's kind of normal to have a little bit of a lull when so many exciting things have happened. It's human nature, right? But we were still close. Right? We didn't play our best. But we told them, we said, if we score the next goal within the first 6 or 7 minutes, we're going to win the game in regulation. And we got 3 goals right off the rip, and we won it in regulation. So they're a tight group in there. Doesn't happen if they're not.
So, Coach, Eastern Conference champs, Northern Division champs, that's got to feel good for the team.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I know there's the old school train of thought where you don't put a banner up unless you win, at the end of the season or only in the playoffs, but I think people set mini goals, right? And if you're a successful person throughout your life, you're probably taught to set mini goals to reach the bigger ones. So those are 2 mini goals that we're very, proud of. We'll have that in our rink for as long as we're here, that all those guys and all the fans and everybody in the front office is part of that history. So it's really neat. It feels good right now. We got to keep going.
When you go back to last year, right? A complete 180 from where you were this year to last year. You make it into the final day of the regular season, not how you really wanted to go in Newfoundland last year. Does that motivation start then, or did it really start in the summer when you're doing the Facebook Lives and seeing the fan interaction and seeing how excited fans got even in May and June? Was that just a motivation for you to want to be better?
Yeah, I mean, it's the motivation as soon as we started to pick up steam last year and get more buy-in from everyone, from the fans, from the front office, from our staff, from the players. Like, it takes time to change the culture. And I think we did that, and it was apparent in the last couple games of our season last year. We kind of knew with the rosters that we didn't really have a great chance against Newfoundland, but we knew that we built positive momentum, and we wanted to continue that this year. And I think that's exactly what we've done.
Speaking of rosters, a very difficult decisions have to be made on Monday.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I know that some guys aren't going to be happy, but it's the nature of pro sports. It's not for everybody, but it's also not the end-all be-all. If you guys remember a guy by the name of James Henry, he wasn't on our playoff roster the first year. And now if you look on Elite Prospects, he has played the most games ever for us, and he was a heck of a contributor in several playoff runs. So everyone's plan is determined already. It's just your job now. Okay, this is how the cards are going right now. Play them the proper way, because it's not the end-all be-all, but it will be some difficult choices that we have to make.
It's also kind of one of those situations where, okay, they don't make the playoff roster, but not necessarily doesn't mean that they're not going to be a part of the team next year. We've seen that happen in previous years. We've seen it happen with you. You're happy with their regular season performance, just things, maybe you get some help from Utica, depending on what happens with their season, and it's just literally a numbers crunch, not performance-wise.
Literally, and it's a puzzle piece. Like, if you guys remember the Miracle movie, he says he doesn't need the best players, he needs the right ones. So that's what we do here always. We're looking for the right guys. Who fits together, who understands, and is willing to go through the way we want to play. It's not easy, it's not for everybody. But I think we found a lot of guys that understand that and they've bought into it. But like you said, it doesn't mean if they're not on the playoff roster that they're not going to be part of this team moving forward. We get 24 guys. That's it. So you go to the finals, you don't get extra. There's no fairy dropping extra players for us. We got to figure it out. So the process is one that's ongoing throughout the year. Once we figure out we're going to be in the postseason, what do we need to go as far as we want to go?
You mentioned, player development throughout the entire season. Ryan Smith getting the call back up to the American Hockey League. He's been with Springfield before, gets his first AHL goal tonight. Take a look at Andre Gontus, another guy. First pro goal, first pro assist. It's fantastic to see, and it's got to feel good for you as well.
Hey, boys. It's awesome. I mean, so Smitty tell this story all the time, but he was a healthy scratch in our first game last year, and ever since then, he's been not only our best 200-foot player, but he's one of the best in the league. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten called up already. There were a few circumstances where he was supposed to, it just didn't work out. And then a guy like Gantz is going to have success wherever he plays. Whatever level he's at, he's a guy that you can put him with anyone and he's going to make things happen. So, yeah, it's a testament to the ECHL that this is a heck of a level.
So you've been working for 6.5 months on everything. You had 3 or 4 days to get ready for the first round. What are the main things you stress in those few practices?
Do the same things. Don't think we have to change.
Sorry?
Don't think we have to change. We've done.
Yeah, but are there certain skills, certain whatever? Anything?
Just get fresh. Get your puck touches. Be on the same page. We'll get some line combinations and D pairings so they're familiarized with each other's movement patterns and how they like to play. But other than that, it's just let's be fresh. We'll have played 72 games at that point, and these guys they're banged up, right? So we're going to try to get as healthy as we can and feel confident going into it and energized. Speaking
of guys being banged up, obviously Patrick Grasso, there was an attempt to try and see if he could play this weekend. That didn't happen. Is there a chance that he'll make a playoff roster and to come back, or is it a situation where you say, all right, we maybe focus to next year?
I mean, for us, it's always health and well-being over hockey, right? Because hockey's going to end, but people who aren't healthy want one thing, right? And what's that? To be healthy. So for Patrick, it's tough. If he broke his arm and we knew it's a 6 to 8 week thing, okay. But we don't have answers. He doesn't have answers. He hasn't really been on the ice. He hasn't practiced with us in about 3 months. So as of now, he wouldn't be a guy that's on our playoff roster.
Colin Felix coming down from Utica. He's a guy that's played in almost every single game since being called up in February. Was that nice to see from Dan McKinnon to loan you a guy like 26 for this weekend?
Sure, and I think it works well for them also because if he needs to go back in, now he's got some reps and he's not just been getting stale. It's important for everybody to keep their legs going and keep their mind going also. But yeah, he's our top defender, top 200-foot defender, one of the top 5 in the entire league. So whenever you get him back, you can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief because you know a guy is going to go out there and do the right things and play with that edge that we need and we love.
Was there any other conversations with Dan McKinnon of potentially happening on Monday, even if they're just paper transactions to get them here at some point?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a trickle down. They're fighting for their lives. They're doing a heck of a job. The North Division is the only division in the American League that has basically everyone at 500 or above. So people say, oh, Utica's in last. It's like, yeah, but they're 5 points out of second or whatever it is, 6. So we're hoping that they get in. We want the organization to do well as a whole. But if they don't or whatever happens, I know that there will be a couple guys that will filter our way.
Connor Blake, another guy that you picked up from Idaho. Not a stranger to picking up Steelhead players. A guy that comes into the organization that just trying to play his game and get the minutes he deserves. Obviously, the story of his dad and having cancer and everything made a huge impact on him. He comes to the Thunder organization, and anytime he's on the ice, he's giving you 100%. So, that moment for him had to be huge.
Yeah, he's been snake bitten. He could have 5 or 6 goals for us. He's a guy that plays forward and defense. Always, he's running our top power play unit. So we're lucky to have found a guy like him.
Lastly here, family came in. You're on the road. You're in Texas. You're in Maine. It's just a grind, and you being a Thunder captain and spending time with family, preaching family. When you took this role as a head coach, you obviously knew family sacrifices had to be made, but you look up and see the Eastern Conference champions in the regular season, North Division champions, but you got your family there, and seeing the support from your wife and kids just got things.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And they actually came with us to Allen. They came with us to Florida this year, so the team's been gracious enough to understand how important that is for us to have that. I think the guys like seeing it as well. They see that we're a tight-knit group, and we try to keep our team and organization the same way. So, yeah, it's been a fun year so far, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Zach Walker, another guy who came back into the lineup, inserted himself in Maine on Wednesday, was on the ice for the opening goal. Once again, another firecracker back in that lineup.
Yeah, he's like a tidal wave out there. Definitely an X factor for us. I wouldn't want to play against him, we can put it that way.
Any nuggets about tomorrow for who's going to get the start net?
Broder.
Cool.
Alex Young, that's got to be talk about that issue for you guys.
Unreal so far. I mean, you look at his numbers and it's kind of funky, and you can realize that there's no way he played in his role when he was at Arizona State, because you don't put up a point per game pretty much 2 years in a row at Colgate if you're not a really good player. So I think he's only going to get better at this level. I think he's a guy that can score 25 to 30 goals next year. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, you too. Talked to you on center ice, Stick It to Cancer weekend, a huge weekend for you. Obviously, story with your dad and family coming in.
Yeah.
You're gonna give that puck to your dad?
100%, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting emotional.
First pro goal for you tonight comes in a big moment to win the conference for you guys. That's even bigger.
Yeah, it was really awesome to be able to do that at home for the fans. They're so awesome to play in front of. The place is so loud. They give us a lot of energy too, playing in front of them. So a lot of credit goes to them, as you can hear it outside right now. So.
Just an unreal story for you. The Steelheads let you go. Pete MacArthur gives you a call. You just want you to go out there and play your game. Easily could have 5-6 goals in the score sheet. Just what an experience the last month and a half for you. It feels like.
Yeah, it's been a interesting start to pro hockey. I give a lot of credit to Pete for giving me the chance, sticking with me, and I've been close a lot of times around the net, so it's finally nice to break through and get one, and even better to get one in a really important time in the game. But this team is a next man up mentality. Everyone just is ready to go. So it's a great group, and clinch the East with this group at home is so cool. So
taking a look at kind of how the goal developed, Starrett was very shaky, lets the Broman goal in, and then was that just kind of a situation where you're going to the net, that's the style you play, and was lucky that you got to stick on it?
Yeah, it's we talked about it in the second intermission. Down a couple goals, we got to get to the net, get pucks to the net, and just crash and see what can happen. We talked about trying to get one early. We did. Lucky one with Broman, but hey, again, just getting a puck on the net, doing the little things right, and then it was a great play by my line mates, and I just happened to be standing in front of the net, so glad it went in.
Regular season wraps up tomorrow. Focus the playoffs. Obviously, never know what's going to happen roster-wise. You mentioned it to me that one of their main goals was to make this playoff roster. There's going to be a lot of difficult decisions happening on Monday by 3.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. I'm just trying to play my part, fill a role on this team. We have a ton of great hockey players here. That's evident with the success this team has had this year. And I'm just glad I can contribute in some ways. And what happens. I'm glad I'm here though.
Did you get to speak to your dad yet?
No, I haven't. I quickly looked at my phone. I saw a bunch of texts from my mom. So I'm very excited to get a call from them in a bit here.
Very cool. Send that pic to them. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I will for sure. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That's perfect. What a season it's been for you so far, and what a group this has been. 55 guys that have constructed this roster. Came in middle of November, and I don't think you could have predicted the season that you've had.
No, I don't think so. It's been an incredible season so far, and this group has big aspirations, but we can certainly be proud of what we've done so far. It's a great time in the room right now, and hopefully keep it going for a while.
That first goal, what'd you see there?
With when Harp's buried it, or the one he gave to me? Yush was battling along the boards, taking that guy out of position, and I just pulled it out of there, and saw Harps was clean in front, and if you get it to him there, he's put it in.
It seems like the second Grasso went down, the team needs somebody to step up, and you've done ever since. What's been the message to the team, since Grasso went down, and the way you guys play now, not only North Division champ, but Eastern Conference champ?
Yeah, we're really missing Grasso. He's a great guy and a great player, so it's really hard to be without him. But like you said, without him in, a lot of their guys have stepped up and played well. Just in measuring our Eastern Conference, regular season title so far, I think Grass, did a lot of the heavy lifting in the first half of the year, and then there's other guys who carried the load while he's been out.
How big was it for you guys to clinch it at home in front of these fans?
It was awesome. The place was going crazy, especially when we got a couple goals there in a row. I mean, you couldn't hear anything. The place was going on. It was going crazy. So looking forward to hopefully some more atmospheres like that.
Colin Felix comes down from the Utica Comets situation where Kate MacArthur makes some phone calls, and Dan McKinnon graciously able to give us the cat for the weekend and maybe beyond, depending on what happens with the Comets here. But just having him on the ice is just fantastic. He's just a different specimen back there when he's able to play 20 minutes a night.
Absolutely, he chews up a lot of good minutes. He's a difference maker for us. He's always so steady and poised, and just plays with a lot of heart back there too. So it's huge to have him back. And I'm not sure what the future holds for rosters between the guys, but we'll be very happy when he's playing.
Andre Gontus, first AHL goal. First AHL point tonight. Ryan Smith, first AHL goal. Great to see teammates contributing at a higher level.
Yeah, that is so cool. I actually didn't know that until you said that. So, I mean, that is so awesome. I'm pumped for those guys. They deserve it as much as anybody. When they got called up there, I mean, it was only a matter of time. Great players who can make differences at that level as well.
Final regular season game before the dance begins. Obviously, you don't know your opponent yet, but you guys are prepared no matter what you face.
Yeah, can't overlook tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot riding on tomorrow for a lot of different reasons. So, we'll show up and be ready to play tomorrow, and then go from there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you. You go back to not sure if you're going to return to this team. Then you return to the team. If you could go back to November, is this how you would have scripted?
I guess it was kind of nice to at least have a few months off in the beginning. I mean, I wasn't really training, and so it was a nice little break. But yeah, if you were going to tell me we're going to be conference champs, and it would have been an easier decision. I would have just been like, yeah, okay, well, I'm coming back. I for sure have never had that in my pro career, and I think my second year at juniors we were conference champs. That was it. That was, close to 20 years ago now, so I don't even remember. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. I did not have that. I was not expecting that. Once we kind of had it on our radar, it was something pretty cool to chase, and it's just kind of crazy how for a few weeks there it wasn't looking like we were gonna get the conference, and then all of a sudden you have a good couple weeks and we're right there. So it's pretty special.
It helps that Greenville struggled to win a couple of games, but you take a look at everything that this team's been through, you being a veteran leader, 55 guys that have come in and out of the Thunder organization. There's going to be some tough decisions to be made coming up on Monday.
Yeah, really tough. I don't envy that decision, and I wish it was more. So,
go ahead.
Harper, you've been here a while. How big is it for you guys to clinch the Eastern Conference champs at home in front of this crowd?
Yeah, that was special. Just the way it worked out, getting 2 points to clinch, that was pretty special. The fans have been awesome all year. In the locker room, Felix even said he couldn't believe how loud it was. So it was pretty special to be able to do it in front of the home fans.
You take a look at upcoming. Obviously, you don't know who you're playing yet, but Maine in a very similar situation that you guys were in last year. They need to win to get into the playoffs. But you look at the complete 180 of what this team's done in a year. What have you seen from Pete MacArthur that's just been more laser focused than last year, or just the way that he's been able to carry the troops?
Yeah, like you said, what did you say? There's 50 guys who have come in and out of the organization. That's really tough, and obviously it's his second year, and so that's obviously a big part of it as well. Jumping to head coach is really, really tough after being a player for a long time. So that's special for the whole organization now, right? I mean, now he's got that on his resume. We have that. I mean, I told. It'll just be cool to come to the rink years later and just look at that banner. So we can. It's all something that we can kind of just share together.
You know, you've been a part of some teams that have come through this Civic Center and Coolidge Arena. Is it just nice to come back here and win hockey games and being able to see this crowd scream and yell and 5,000 plus every night?
Yeah, that's what's the most fun for me, playing in front of these fans here, playing at home now. It's been a blast. It's been a blast, and it makes you want to play harder with how much they appreciate it. You know.
Is Megan the kids coming tomorrow for the finale?
We're hoping so. Early game is when they could come. So hopefully they can make it tomorrow.
Is it nice though that all kidding aside, they're a year older now, they understand more of what's going on in the world. Is it super cool?
Yeah, it is super cool. I mean, it's nice to even like bring them into the rink for a practice or something like that. That's pretty cool, and they'll remember that. We have pictures of that, so that'll be something that we can remember down the road. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
So you wrap up the regular season. Just thoughts on this regular season and what it was for you guys.
Warriors. Got a bunch of Warriors. That was our 25th overtime game, I think, and we got the North and the East wrapped up. We know where we're at in the playoffs. We got guys eating pucks out there. Eating pucks when it matters, but it doesn't, right? So I think that says a whole lot about our group right there.
What about this series coming up with Maine? It's going to be 11 straight against these guys. You've seen them a lot recently. Talk a little bit about this series coming up.
Well, 5 straight, because 11 would be game 7. So our mindset's on the first one. So same opponent, brand new season. They're a good hockey team. A lot of good pieces, one of the best players in the league. We saw him on display tonight, Alex Kyle. So we're going to have our hands full. Thankfully, we're going to get a couple days to regroup, figure out who's on our team for the playoffs, have a good team meal on Tuesday night, and then we're going to hit the ground and get to work on Wednesday.
Connor Blake, the last two nights, has really made his efforts for the playoff roster.
Yeah, he's a guy that's going to be on our playoff roster. He plays forward and D. He runs our number 1 power play unit, so expect to see 62 around.
Another guy that runs power play in there and runs forward defense. Ryan Wheeler, talk about the way he's played these last couple of weeks. Seems like since he got moved to forward, he's kind of turned it up.
Yeah, he was playing very well on D also. He's we always talk about, there's a couple guys that continuously recycle through our brains, Bergie and I, and one of them was Connor Riley. How we know we need a Connor Riley on our team, and I think Wheels is that guy. He was a guy that we had to cut him his first year and send him to the SP. He's going to become a corrections officer, and thankfully he didn't. He became one of our most valuable guys we've ever had here. He played forward and defense. He ended up scoring almost 30 goals one year, and I think you're seeing that with Wheeler. He's just making himself more and more valuable.
I'm good.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
soon.
What does that mean to have another one and the way they close this regular season out?
Yeah, well, certainly, I think we had 6 last year, so it's pretty special. And our fan bases, they've always been good, but this year it's a whole nother level. So, 15, that's about 40% of our games. So, it's pretty incredible what our fans did for us this year. So, yeah, certainly a special year, regular season. I think we set franchise records in wins, points, and certainly attendance. So, it's been pretty special so far.
How big was it for you guys to be able to clinch the Eastern Conference on home ice in front of these fans? Just the whole year, the 15 sellouts, to wrap it all up with that.
Well, obviously our fan base is incredible. Everybody says it, but the building is just electric when we're playing well. And I think last night when we got one of our big goals to tie it, one of the loudest goals I've ever been in. So, with clinching at home, it's special. Obviously, you always want to win in front of your fan base if you can. So, pretty special weekend for us.
And now you guys get to secure some home ice advantage throughout. Talk about how big that is to be able to have the Kelly Cup playoffs potentially run through this building.
Yeah, well, certainly, at least, hopefully we get through 3 rounds. We do control the home ice, as you just mentioned. Certainly, home ice advantage is always good. We're a pretty good team at the Coolidge Arena, and we're pretty excited to start Friday night against Maine.
You know, Pete MacArthur this year, last year gets the team to the playoffs, obviously on the last day. This year gets the team to the top of the standings in the East. You've got to be happy with the job he's done this year, especially with the amount of guys who've been in and out of out of the locker room.
Yeah, I think what 50 players so far this year. I think one of the most in ECHL. Yeah, I mean Pete obviously just second year as a head coach. I think second year as a coach at all. You know, he's come a long ways. You know, he knows the kind of player that he wants, and he's found him, and the players really responded to him. And you know, we think he's one of the better coaches in the ECHL. We're lucky to have him right now.
How much does it help kind of having somebody who, you know, had played here, also with Burge and another guy who had played here behind the bench?
Yeah, well, certainly, you know, we tried to create a culture here. You know, having former players that played the right way, you know, be a part of our leadership group. You know, it's kind of something we always envisioned. And like I said earlier, you know, having Pete and Mike lead the team on the ice it's working well.
For a while, talk about this season and how it's different than the other years that you've played here.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago was tough. We were, you know, close to the bottom in the league. Last year was, we had a major comeback after the second half of the year and made it on the last day of the season. This year it was nice for the last game of the year, really not to mean much. So that's nice, and to hang a couple banners of division and a conference is pretty huge and something that, you know, we can always just come back in this rink and look up there and see it. So that's something that, you know, nobody can take away from you.
And, you know, I've been seeing from people that have watched Adirondack hockey a long time, the fans this season and how this is close to the Adirondack Red Wings days. Talk about the fans this year.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit, just being out and around town and saying that it reminds them of Red Wings days and how fun it was. I'd always heard about the Red Wings era whenever just living here now. So that's pretty cool to kind of have people that excited.
You know, obviously, you know, at the end of the season, you guys were up and down, but the last couple of games, you know, the Allen road trip, and then going to Maine, you guys were able to pick up points. How big is that for you guys having that kind of momentum heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, massive. I really like the way we've been playing. I mean, we're never out of a game, even when we're down. So I really like to see that going into playoffs. Gives us some confidence.
You know, the last couple of games, two big guys, Connor Blake and Ryan Wheeler. Wheeler's really stepped up, moving up to forward, and Connor Blake's really, you know, gold in his last two games. That's got to be huge for him. The guy like Wheeler who can play either on the back end or up front.
Massive, yeah. I mean, two guys that are you can play them up and down the lineup, literally forward or D. It's pretty massive, and they're both chipping in offensively, which is not easy to do. So it's pretty impressive and really nice to have as an option.
You've played with Tristan Ashbrook a lot this year. You guys have seemed to pair up on the line a lot of the time. Talk about what you've seen from him winning Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah, he plays the game the right way. He's first and foremost a two-way center. But then, I mean, clearly his offensive instincts are very good. It's, you know, nobody just scores 30 goals in any league, so that's pretty impressive. And I think he continued to get more and more opportunity as he kind of showed that he deserved it, and he ran with it. And he's just a very smart hockey player that is on both sides of the puck. He never really cheats. He's our best face-off guy. He does a lot.
You were named one of the co-MVPs for the team. What does that mean for you?
Huge. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting it, or even, I mean, I kind of forgot that we even did those year-end awards. So it's always nice to have a personal accolade and something to put on the mantle. So that's just really neat for me to have, and I was excited to hear that. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep. Kind of made the transition from defense to offense after. So just talk about how it's been and the way that you've been playing.
Yeah, obviously playing with guys like, you know, Ash and Harps and seeing what they do every day makes it pretty easy to follow. So it's a little weird at first, but, you know, every game that I've played after that, I've gotten more and more comfortable, I feel like. So, yeah, it's good.
How special was this series, this fan appreciation weekend, and it's the 15th sellout of the year, and to have this fan base behind you guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. It feels like every weekend, you know, there's just more and more energy in the building. And it's hard to top every week. So it's unbelievable to see just all the little kids, all the families that love coming every weekend. It's awesome. So.
How much does home ice help you guys? For, you know, knowing you're gonna have at least for the first 2 rounds, for the first round against Maine?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we absolutely love playing here. It feels like we were on the road for a little bit there, but so nice to be back in our building and listen to the fans, just bring the energy every night. So we're super excited to be home for the first couple games for sure.
Obviously at the end of the season, you guys are up and down, but a couple, points in the last probably 5 straight for you guys. How big is that for you guys going into the playoffs with that kind of momentum?
Yeah, it feels like we got a good amount of momentum going into the playoffs, which is huge, right? You never want to be going in, when you're kind of going uphill. So feels like we found our game again, and we're playing well. Everyone's playing with confidence and jam, and I really like where we are going into the playoffs. So
You've gotten the chance to play a lot with Ashbrook this year. He's named Rookie of the Year for the team. Talk about what you've seen from him and how he's progressed from the beginning of the year to the way he's been playing now.
yeah, I think it speaks to just kind of how he is as a person. It almost feels like he doesn't do anything wrong. He's like the perfect human. So just his habits away from the rink every day, shows up with a positive attitude every day, and it translates to the ice. He's obviously a great player, and it's easy to play with him. So
About what it means for this group to be headed there.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment, putting ourselves in the spot we did for playoffs. We just played a couple hard-fought games against Maine, so we know kind of what that's going to look like, and it should be good series.
You win Rookie of the Year for the Thunder this year. Talk about that honor in a team like this with mixed rookies, mixed veterans. How it is to get that honor.
Yeah, it's cool to be recognized. I'm thankful for that. It's just it's been fun just contributing to the team all year, and we got a great thing going here right now. So hopefully we'll continue that for a while.
Another guy that's played pretty special for you guys, Ryan Wheeler, and the way that he's moved from defense to forward, and has another goal tonight. Talk about what you've seen from him and the way he's transitioned.
Yeah, Wheeler's been playing great. Wherever he's slotted, and it's not easy to do that. He's really taken it in stride and really done anything the team has needed of him. So it's absolutely huge to have a guy like that, and he's been playing great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.